Sometimes we see chaos, and this is a big number. So let's dig deep and try to find some positives for the Dolphins. If you are looking at that side of the equation, what could possibly go right for the Dolphins tonight? Do you say, hey, at least this game shouldn't, have snow in it? At least the Bills defense has proven to be like beatable in some cases. They're missing a few guys on their defense. What are the positives for the Dolphins? How could this possibly be a competitive game?
Well, if I was going to put on my optimistic hat and try and make that happen, which you've already put the record out there, which doesn't happen very much against the Bills. I think Josh Allen's only losses are like a last-second, clock running out and a missed open receiver in the end zone when he was a rookie. So let's just play in fantasy land. If they were going to make it close, I think the best way is probably for this to be a shootout. They did show some life offensively last week. They did get off the canvas after getting down 2 touchdowns to the Patriots, and seemed like they had found their old bread and butter of getting the ball outside to their explosive receivers. Waddle, Tyreek had a good game together. It felt like that had been ages. Tyreek had his first 30-plus yard gain in over a year. And Devon Achane's been really good through 2 games. He's really probably been the lone standout out of everybody. Like he just comes and he produces. He's to his new safety blanket now that Jonnu Smith is gone. He's almost actually more of a receiver than a running back. And he's always just that safety valve. And he's very hard to stop. He's gotten better every single year. He runs very physical even for a small running back when he gets the ball in space. So he's been very, very impressive. You're not going to get anything out of the tight ends. The Darren Waller experiment is probably going to run out in about 48 hours. They're going to just pull the plug on that, I'd imagine. As far as a secret weapon that they've been loving, it's Malik Washington. We saw what he did last week on the punt return, and he has also turned a lot of eyes. I do think that as the season goes on, and especially even if they do move on from Tyreek, you're going to see even more from number 6 on the Miami Dolphins. And so if I were to play it like that, is there a way it keeps up? I think that it has to be on a keeping up offensively, just because the thing that's been probably the more disappointing thing with this team is their defense has just been awful. I think it's 13 out of 15 drives. They've given up points this year. And with all the firepower they thought they had in their pass rushing room, it just really hasn't been the case. They have a lot of young guys next to Zach Sealer, who got a big contract this year. And they haven't been able to really stop the run. So I'm worried about them being able to get the likes of James Cook and Josh Allen off the field. But I do think the offense showed some life yesterday, and I do think McDaniel knows he's kind of pull out all the stops in a game like this, because his job could very much be on the line tonight.
Brendan, I was going to ask you about that. Is this season salvageable for Mike McDaniel? Does he have to have a win tonight to keep his job?
Yeah, I think that, does he get fired if it's competitive? Exactly, no. But I think, the only way it feels like it turns around is if they win tonight. And so, that's the only thing that's going to make you have any sign of life. You win tonight, you get to rest for 10 days before you got a Monday night matchup against the Jets, which, could be with a backup quarterback. So you'd feel like, okay, we can get out of the darkness here. We can get out of the hole. So it's not necessarily that he has to beat the Bills just because that's the mandate. It's just the math of it. You need something to just get this fan base off your back. Last week, guys, the fan base came in as angry as I've seen. And it just the first drive that stalled out, they were ready to boo in the building. I can't remember the building being that hostile in a long, long time. Certainly not in a week 2 game. So, yeah, I would say that just to get everybody off his back, he needs the win. If they keep it competitive, will he necessarily be fired tomorrow morning? No, I think that only happens in a blowout. But if he's going to actually keep this thing and his Dolphins career is going to continue, yeah, he needs to be able to show that he can beat the team. 6 straight losses to the Bills.
Ugh. Do people have faith in this franchise? Because I think it's one thing to have a down season. I think people understand you're not going to win the Super Bowl every year, and that's fine. But it's another thing to feel like you don't have any hope for the future. I'm speaking as a Titans fan. I know that feeling, and it's not a good one. Do people believe in this front office?
No. Absolutely not. No, they don't believe in Chris Greer. He is, and he's kept his job for a while. He's been in the organization for 20. He's been running the show for about 7 now, and he just has a propensity to draft injured guys and let his good picks walk out because he likes to go make blockbuster trades. But then those burn out, and there's nothing left in the cupboard. And so, no, the answer is they don't have faith in the front office. I think the ownership is running a little thin on patience because they didn't open up the checkbook. Like, Stephen Ross does spend a lot of money, and he wasn't even going to do that this offseason. He wasn't going to reconstruct contracts. He wasn't going to do any of that stuff, particularly with Tua's deal. And so I think that the faith is very much at empty. Now, look, Chris Greer has been around for 20 years in a Dolphins organization that's been inept and hasn't won a playoff game in 25 years. So does that guarantee that he's going to get fired? I have to see to believe. But the fan base is absolutely rats off a ship on him.